Okay, so welcome everybody to our webinar today. The title is From Chaos to Harmony, Mastering File Sync with Windows. I'm your host, Michael Reuter. I am the product manager for 360 Sync, and I've also got Marina Lucier and Angie Jackson on the call with me as well. So before we get started, please feel free to drop us a note or drop a question into the Q&A section, and we will do our best to answer those questions either along the way or at the end of the presentation. This should not be too long of a presentation, so hopefully you guys will get a little bit of time back in your work day today. But basically what we're going to be focusing on is 360 Sync in the cloud with Windows. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of set the stage here, okay? So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So as I said, my name is Michael Reuter. I'm the product manager of 360 Sync. Before I worked here with Evolve, I've been here for 7 years, by the way. Before I worked with Evolve, I worked for Walsh Construction as a BIM coordinator. And so it was my job as the BIM coordinator to update files whenever they came in. So I would get an email or a link from one of my MEP coordinators, and then it would be my job to download that file and then save it onto Walsh's server. Then I'd have to go and turn around and do the exact same thing and save that file in SharePoint, because that was the project hub for all of the files and the data. Then I'd have to turn around and do the same thing a third time with BIM 360, because that was what the field used to manage the project. And then again, I would have to do it a fourth time because I needed to send it to the architect. And they used Newforma, so I'd have to drop that file into a fourth spot. And so then that doesn't even count towards the end of the project wherever the owner would have wanted it, okay? So basically, I had to do the same bit of work, just copying one stupid file from one place to another. I had to do that 4 or 5 times. And it was extremely frustrating. It was extremely time-consuming. I always kind of thought there had to be a better way. So fast forward to when I came here to Evolve, our owner, Richard Burrows, always asks the question, what's a broken workflow in your industry? So when they asked that to me, I immediately thought of that problem that I just described. And so he partnered me with a developer and we built 360 Sync together. And that was about 5 or 6 years ago. And we started out where we connected between Windows and BIM 360 and also Viewpoint. And then we have branched out to everything that you see on this slide here. So the way that 360 Sync has worked in the past, you install it on a Windows computer, and then it can connect to whatever that computer can connect to. So that could be your server or a shared drive or even your desktop. Or it could be something that leverages Windows by using a desktop client. So something like Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, Ignite, ShareFile, OneDrive, ODrive, Panzera. Those things all leverage Windows by using desktop clients software. So we can connect to those things and we can take files to them or from them. We've also built it out to work with Citrix ShareFile, PlanGrid, Viewpoint for projects, Newforma, Bluebeam Studio projects, Autodesk Vault, Autodesk Construction Cloud, A-Site, SharePoint, and Procore. So all of those things we can connect to and we can take files to it or from it. Also, what we've been building lately is a cloud tool. And so what I'm about to show off to you guys here after I go through my PowerPoint is a preview to 360 Sync in the cloud with Windows. Okay. But before we get into that demo, let's talk about where 360 Sync is headed. So if you take a look at the screen right here, this shows our brand spanking new user interface in the cloud. But with our migration, Now 360 Sync in the cloud is going to be part of the Evolve platform. And that means that it's a cloud product. And so you'll be able to manage all of your connections, all of your projects via a web portal. And that's going to be helpful because it's always on. You don't have to have a dedicated server to use 360 Sync any longer. It is in the cloud and it's always running. And so that'll allow us to leverage real-time connectivity so that you can get your files and your data copied from one place to another, to another, to another in real time rather than just waiting for it to run on a schedule on a daily basis. We've also done a really great job of making workflows, of reimagining our workflow process. So before it was a very linear process where you would choose the source and you choose the destination and then files would sync. Now, if you need to copy to multiple destinations, you can do that using our little workflow canvas that you see illustrated here on the screen. But this will allow you to sync files quicker, easier, faster to multiple locations. And then in the future, what we're actually starting to work on right now is having active dashboards that'll help you understand how you're using 360 Sync, how much data has been copied from one place to another. Also, we'll have things where you can actually review RFI workflows and see where how many things are in a part of a certain status or which ones are due or upcoming so that you can actually be actionable on it. But all of those things are in the future. What I'm here to show you today is a preview of 360 Sync with Windows. Okay. So we'll do our demo here in just a second, but we've also got a pretty robust roadmap that we've got working out right here. Right now, we can already connect to things like Citrix files, Procore, R5s, drawings, and submittals, SharePoint with modern authentication. We've got new Forma and Plan Grid. We can also upload and download Autodesk issue data to and from Excel and then to and from Autodesk. And then we've got we give you the option to either perform all these tasks on a desktop computer or if you want to in the cloud. Our beta for BIM 360, Procore, SharePoint, and Windows users is actually live right now. We expect to roll that out to most of our larger customers here over the next month. And then we expect to officially roll out the cloud on 9/1. Once we've got our cloud release, we will be adding different actions in. So things like publishing models from BIM 360 or from Procore, then exporting data to and from Excel. We'll be able to do that. Then by the end of the year, we expect to have RFI and submittal workflows that will be in place. And then further out, we will be able to integrate with all of the things that the desktop currently integrates with in the cloud. All the while, we'll be fixing bugs and making small user interface enhancements so that our customers can, so that the product is as good as it possibly can be. So what we're going to be doing right now is showing off a demo of 360 Sync in the cloud. So we'll be integrating with Windows in the cloud to and from a couple of different places. Okay. So without further ado, let's knock that out. First, I'm going to need to stop sharing for a second and share my other screen. All right. So this right here is our our new user interface. Okay. If you're going to connect to 360 Sync, let me move this over here. Then once you log into Foresight, you're going to want to click on the waffle in the top right corner and select 360 Sync. You can see I've actually already done that. But once you get there, you're going to want to come over here to our little navigation bar and choose connectors the first time that you set anything up. And so here you'll notice that we've got a bunch. I've already set up all of my actions, but if I wanted to create a new action or a new connector, I could actually hit new connector. And so if I wanted to connect to Windows, I could choose Windows. And so from there, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down here to our 360 Sync Windows agent that you install, and you're going to want to click on it, and then click on it and hit Copy Agent ID. And so when you do that, it's going to allow you to connect to your specific computer. Okay, then you hit Test Connection, and you're good to go. All right. Also, what we have built out is the ability to import your desktop connections and projects so that and then set them up to sync. So I won't walk through that entire process right now, but basically you will be able to take all of the data that you are currently using, all of the projects and the workflows that you've already built in the desktop, and you'll be able to migrate those from the desktop into the cloud, and so that you can basically just, rather than having to reinvent the wheel when you migrate all of your stuff to the cloud, you can actually just click a couple of buttons, import everything up, and then start syncing from within the first 30 minutes for all of your projects. Okay. So super easy to use, super easy to do. If we have time, I guess at the end, I might show that off. But once you've got your connection set up, all you really have to do is click on the workflows button. So I've actually already got that open. And so now once I open a workflow, it actually brings me to a blank canvas. And so if you'll notice down here in the bottom right corner, I've got 3 tools. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a Windows connection, and we'll call this one from Windows. And then I will drag a couple of other things. So if I want to connect to Procore, I can do that, or Autodesk, I guess. If I want to connect to Procore, I can do that as well. And then I'll just, for the sake of it, I will do a second Windows. Okay. So basically, for this demo, what we're going to do is I'm going to set up 2 different connections here. We're going to be taking files from Windows to Autodesk, and then we're going to be setting up another one to go from Procore to Windows. Okay, so I've set that up. I've chosen where I want data to come from and where I want it to go to. So now I'm going to choose what I want to do. So right now you see we've only got one action, which is copy files, but in the very near future, we will also have the ability to publish models, export data to and from Excel, leverage an RFI and or submittal workflow. But right now, all we've got is copy files. So I'm going to drag this action over here. So we'll just call this copy files 1. Okay. And so now I'm going to choose to take files from Windows. Let's see, give me 1 second. Let me do that. Hold on. It says that my agent is down. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. So I'll hit refresh there. There we go. Now my so now notice when I pick Windows, my all of my drives pop up. So my C, my G, and my S pop up. If I wanted to just connect to my C drive, I could do that. And then let's see if I wanted to go to my desktop and find my Dropbox or something like that, I could do that as well. So now notice there's my Trimble Connect folder, Box Sync, my BIM 360 Teams, Docs, OneDrive, O Drive, share file. I can connect to any or all of those things. Or I could connect to my G drive. So let's just say we wanted to do that. So I'll just say, let's say for example, I wanted to copy this folder, or maybe I wanted to copy this folder and that folder. I could choose to check both boxes, but I just want to move one folder. So I've chosen what I want to copy from Windows. And so now, if I wanted to, I could choose to filter by file type. So maybe I only wanted to filter or only wanted to copy PDFs. Okay. Or maybe I just wanted to copy RVT files, drawing files, and PDFs. Then I could do that. But in this example, I want to move everything. So I'm just going to not filter. And so next, I'll choose where I want this data to go. So if I want this to go to Autodesk, then I'll do that. Then I'll choose the company that I want to connect to. Then I'll choose my project. And then I'll choose the folder where I want these files to go. So if I wanted to, I could just drop these into the project files folder. Or I could pick a folder that already exists, or I could create a new folder. So we'll create one. Call it Windows Webinar. So now I'll scroll down, find that. And now if I wanted to add a second destination, I could do so. Or I could hit next and I could choose to sync this. And so before, what we could do is we could sync now. So if I choose sync now, then all these files would sync right at this moment. Or I could choose to schedule this sync. And so if I wanted this to run Monday through Friday at, let's say, what time is it now? 2:20. Then I could do that. Okay. But the new and most, I guess, most exciting feature here is that you can set it up to run in real time. So what will happen is 360 Sync will run immediately, and then it will sync any updated files after that in real time. So the first time that it runs, it's going to upload everything. Second time it runs, it's going to be listening, and whenever you update a file in the source, so in this example, it would be Windows, then that file will be updated moments or seconds later in Autodesk. Okay, in your destination, which is Autodesk. So I'm just going to pick that, and I'm going to hit Save and Sync. Okay, so same thing. Let's say I want to go from Procore to Windows this time. I can do the same thing. So I'll pick Procore, choose my company. I'll choose my project. If I want to take my RFIs, I can do that. Okay. And now I'll choose where I want those to go. So I want them to go to Windows. And again, I'll pick my folder. And if I wanted these to go into a different folder, I could either create a new one or drop them into an existing one. And that's what I'm going to do. So this time, if I want to schedule this to run, then I can do that. So we'll say we want this to run Monday through Friday at 2:22 p.m. So we should be able to see that one run here shortly. I'll hit save, and there we go. Okay. So that's pretty much it. You set these up. If you notice, you can kind of organize them however you want. So right now we're going from Windows, copying files to Autodesk, and taking files from Procore, copying those files to Windows. Again, if I wanted to, I could have multiple destinations where these files from Procore are being copied to. But in this example, we're just going from Windows and to Windows. Okay. So once that's done, we can come over here to the logs, and we can come in here and we can kind of check on the progress. And so we can see 21 folders or files have already been copied. and as each file comes in, it'll tell us if they were successful or not. Also, important, cool new feature that's different from the desktop tool. So if you've ever used the desktop tool, then what you can do here is you can actually say, if this is your typical workflow, then you could save this as a template. You could name it and then hit save, and then it would save that template so that all you'd have to do is just come in here and edit the folder structure, and then you're good to go. So it kind of does have to work for you to begin with. Okay, so that's what we've got. So let's go. So if anybody has any questions or comments, I guess now, please feel free to drop us a line in the Q&A section here. I can see that Bo Tooley has actually already given me one. So he's asking the question from Windows, does it look to see what is different or changed and only sync those items? Also, if someone adds to the folder in Autodesk, does it sync those back to Windows? Okay, two-part question here. So one, yes, if we're syncing in real time from Windows, so if we're looking at this one right here, what it is doing is right now it's going to sync everything from Windows to Autodesk, okay? But then as soon as a file is saved in that folder that we picked in Windows, if there's a new file added, or if there's a file that is opened and then edited and then saved and closed, then that file will we use this technology called webhooks. And basically what they do is they are listening to the folder that is the source folder to see if anything is added or if anything is changed. So as soon as something is added or changed in the source location, it will be copied almost immediately to the destination location. If someone adds the fold, if right now we don't have bidirectional sync in the cloud, we're not sure how that'll work with webhooks, so we're kind of treading cautiously there. However, our desktop tool does allow for a bidirectional sync between Windows, Procore, and or Autodesk. So if you needed to have it where a file was, where what you're talking about there, if someone adds a file to a folder in ACC, would it sync it back to Windows? We can do that with our desktop tool currently. So I would say the cloud does not do that right now, but the desktop does, and that will be something that we will eventually build into the cloud tool. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. How is Bluebeam coming along? Okay, great question. So I would anticipate that Bluebeam, I'm hoping that it'll be done by the end of the year. The goal is to have an apples to apples comparison of the desktop and the cloud tool by the end of the year, if not sooner. The next one that we're working on actually is Autodesk Vault, I believe. But yeah, Bluebeam should be not far behind that. Good question. As I said at the beginning, we are rolling the cloud capability out to some of our larger customers. This will end in August, and then we've kind of handpicked a couple of them that said that they wanted to do this when we were building this. So we're going to be setting those guys up as soon as we go live. But if you also are interested in testing it out, trying it out, using this, then we can set you up with it as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, then let's see, let's switch them. Okay. If that's something that you're interested in, contact either myself or Tangi at our emails below. It's just our names at evolvemep.com. Okay. So if you want to get set up with the trial or want to migrate your stuff over, we will start doing that in August. Okay. Trying to think if there's any other typical questions. Oh, another typical question that I get is, well, if I have the desktop tool, but I want to move to the cloud, do I have to purchase anything? Well, if you're a current user of 360 Sync, then you get either or. Same thing. If you were to be a new customer, you can choose based off of your workflow requirements which tool to use. Okay, both tools are fully supported. Both tools are fully. We're coming out with updates for them every other week or monthly if necessary. Um, so if there's something that doesn't work in the cloud but it works in the desktop that you want to do, we will set you up. So if you guys are interested in a demo or a trial of either of our tools, we're more than happy to do that. Just shoot us an email and we'll be happy to jump on a call with you. So I don't believe there are any other questions. So that concludes my presentation for the day. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Sorry I've got the sniffles today. It seems like whenever I have it's presentation day for me, my allergies kick my butt. But appreciate you guys dealing with me. Have a good rest of the day, and if this is something that you guys are interested in, please feel free to reach out. We're more than happy to show it off or provide you guys with a 30-day trial. Appreciate everybody's time.